Alright, good evening guys. Welcome back to another video of our Bible stories with me. And I want to give guys a very wonderful story. A very wonderful story about a man named Noah. Now, we should not give serious time to this. If not, I wouldn't have been opportune to be here. Like, I wouldn't have been existing to even be here to record this video to give to you guys. None of us in this next would have been existing because the intention of God was to wipe out the entire race of mankind, the entire human race. That was the plan of God in the first place. So we should all be grateful to this wonderful, marvelous man named Noah. So there was a time when mankind had fallen so low, where there was the emergence of Nephilims, which we all know as giants back then, and these Nephilims were from a cross between humans and angels, fallen angels to be precise. So that wasn't the only reason, but there was a lot of atrocity that was being committed by the human race on earth. And when God looked at the evil that humans were doing on earth, he marveled and he was so annoyed. And God said to himself, he said, these people that I created, what manner of evil have they brought on this earth? What manner of evil are they committing? And God was displeased with humans. God was displeased with all of mankind, to the point that for the first time, God even apologized to himself. Even said that he was sorry. Imagine the regret in his tone to say that I am sorry that I made man. You can only imagine the gravity of the atrocities that mankind were committing back then. That was so bad. And God was so displeased. And God said, no, I'm going to wipe out the race of mankind from the earth. And it's in the nature of God, because God is love, and God created humans. He created mankind out of love for us. He wanted a relationship with us. He created mankind because of the love that he had for us. And just as my previous story that I told of Jonah and the getaway prophet, Jonah, you can see that it's within God's nature that when all hope is being lost, or when it seems as though mankind has no hope, God is always searching, and is always searching and looking for a ray of light, a spectrum of light, for him to see, just a spectrum of light in all the darkness on earth, for him to know that there is hope in mankind. Just as he sent Jonah to warn the people of Nineveh, because he still wanted to give them a chance of redemption, and the same way that he sent his only begotten son to die for our sake, because he still wanted to give mankind a chance of redemption, that we will not be destroyed because of the atrocities of our works, or because that will not be judged based on only our works here on earth. Now, God looked at the earth upon the race of mankind, and God saw one man that caught his eyes, caught his attention, that caught his interest, and that was Noah. You see, Noah was a man of standing, a man that was upright in the sight of God, a man that lived his life. I wouldn't say in righteousness, but I would say that he lived his life in reverence to the ways that God wanted mankind to live. He was unique. He was different from the other race of men. He was different from the world. He was not living according to the world. He was in the world, but he was not of the world. That's just a simple statement I would make. Noah was in the world, but he was not of the world. He was not living the kind of life that others were living. And God saw this man, and God said, I can't destroy all of them. So what God decided to do was that God said that, okay, God spoke to Noah and instructed Noah, told Noah his plans for mankind, for the human race. Imagine God coming stupid low to tell a human being that, see, I want to destroy the whole of mankind, but because of you, I still see that there's hope for mankind. So what I'm going to do is that I'll destroy mankind by a flood, but I won't do it now. Do you get it? I won't do it now, Noah. So what's going to happen is that I'll give you time. That's the reason why I'm coming to you now to explain these things to you. I'll give you time. And I'm giving you expo of what's going to happen. You get it? I'm going to give you expo of what's going to happen. So this was what God told Noah. And Noah was like, okay, yes Lord, so what now? What is the next step? How do we move forward from here? And God told him, the destruction of mankind is going to be by flood. I'm going to flood the earth to the point that there will be nothing left. All flesh with breath in it, the breath of life in it, is going to die. But there's still hope in you, and you are the hope of the grace of man. So what I want you to do is that I want you to build an ark. I want you to build a ship that is very large. A We call it an ark. It's an ark. And God began to give him revelations, the dimensions of how he was going to do it. Build the length, so and so cubits. Build the width, so and so cubits. Let there be 3 decks. Let the decking of the floors of the boat be like 3 steps, 3 floors. Let it be so wide, let it be this big, let it, you understand? God gave him in a revelation all the dimensions of what he was meant to do on the ark, how he was meant to design the ark. God did not just leave him hanging. God did not just leave him hanging. And the good thing is that Noah was so upright. And the faith of Noah is very amazing because he believed everything that God asked him to do, even though it didn't make any sense. Because truthfully, it wouldn't make any sense building an ark. And Noah did exactly as God instructed, which is also a lesson for us to understand that it is very, very important to follow the instructions of God. Because you don't know when it will save your life. God will give you an instruction for your own benefit. He will give you an instruction that will be of importance in your life. So it is very important that you follow the instructions of God to the letter. And that was exactly what Noah did when God was giving him all these instructions. And the thing is that when God gave him all these instructions, he also pulled his family also into it. He pulled his family into it, and his family followed him. And that is the importance of the family as a unit as well. His family followed him, and his family helped him in designing and in doing the work. You tell Japheth, hey, because he had 3 sons, Japheth, Shem, and Ham. You tell Japheth, bring this wood, cut this one, Ham, pack the zinc, pack this one, you bring the nails. And all of them were doing all this work in unity. And gradually, over time, the ark was coming up. The building of the ark was beginning to take shape. And I believe that funny enough, there are a lot of people that came and saw them and were like, what is all of these people? Are these people crazy? What are these people building like this? I'm sure there are a lot of scoffers, a lot of people that mocked them, that wondered whether they were mad or whether they are gone crazy because of what they were doing. And I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people that asked them, why are you guys building this thing? I do not know whether Noah warned people, but I do know that probably, I'm just guessing, probably maybe Noah told people and Noah believed him. Because it's the person that while they met him building the ark, they asked him, why are you building this? And he explained to them that the flood is coming and they just laugh at him, they mock him and like him. So in the process of all this, Noah was building the ark, and the ark was gradually coming into shape. And God instructed Noah to, God told Noah that this is what you're going to do. Before you enter the ark, I need you to gather up 2 pairs, one pair is 2 animals. When he says one pair of each kind of every kind of animal. So 1 pair is male and female. That's 1 pair, male and female of every kind of animal. But then there's something that I understood when I read the Bible, because I'm sure a lot of people wondered then how were they able to do sacrifice when they came out from the ark, and how were they able to feed when they were in the ark for a whole year and about 2 months. Now what we need to understand is that God helped them to plan how they were going to live within that year of the flood. So what happened was that God told Noah, see Noah, take in 1 pair of every kind of animal, of every kind of unclean animal, unclean. He said 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal. But then take in seven pairs of every kind of clean animal, and 7 pairs of every kind of bird. I'm sure God sent these animals to Noah's doorstep because it would have been difficult for Noah to gather all these animals. But God is expressly instructed him to take in 7 pairs of clean animals. Now follow me on this. The reason for that is because you see, these animals were going to be in the ark with Noah, and within over time they were going to reproduce and multiply. And then these same 7 pairs of clean animals were what Noah was meant to use for sacrifice. Because back in the days, even though they did not used to use unclean animals to do any form of sacrifice as often. They don't use it as often. They don't use it for sacrifice. They use only clean animals, and that's the reason why God instructed Noah to take 7 pairs of every kind of clean animals. Meaning that 7 pairs of both male and female. So that is 7 male, 7 female of every kind of clean animals. And also within these 7 pairs of clean animals was also what Noah fed on within the 1 year that he was in the ark. And also because it took time for Noah to build the ark because of how large the structure of the ark was meant to be. So I'm sure God gave Noah a lot of time. God forewarned Noah about the flood a long time ago and gave him instructions on how to build the ark, gave him instructions on how to prepare for that period. And I'm sure the preparation took a lot of planning, a lot of gathering of foodstuff, a lot of gathering of grains and cereals and all those every form of foodstuff that they were going to survive on, and as well as the animals that were going to also be living in the ark with them. And Noah followed the instructions of God without any argument. Now, when the time came for the rain to start, God instructed Noah, take his family and take all the animals into the ark. And they did as God had instructed. And then God shut the door of the ark. The door was so large. He doesn't even know that shut the door. It was God himself that shut the door of the ark, sealed. And then the next thing, heavy rain started. Wow, thunder, wow, lightning. I'm sure the people were shocked. Which kind of rain is this one? Heavy outpour. The heavens were opened. Wow, rain falling here and there. Rain, heavy rain. And it flooded the whole earth for 40 days and 40 nights. It was raining heavy. And aside from the rain, there was an outpour from the fountains. It wasn't only the rain that was flooding the earth, but also the fountains were pouring out water that filled the earth, and it covered to the peak of the highest mountain. That's from the top of the highest mountain to the level of water was around about 15 cubits high. That's to tell you the depths of the water. The flood covered everything in its wake. Nothing could survive it. Not insect. I believe the only thing that would have survived that flood were fishes. The beasts of the sea were the only thing that could survive that flood. And that's the reason why God didn't really tell Noah that he should preserve the beasts of the sea. He said the beasts of the earth. So everything was swept away within the flood. And Noah was in the ark. It took about 150 days for the water to become calm, for the rain to stop, for the water to begin to go away. And then it took time for the water, for the earth's surface to dry. It took about 10 months. Within the 7th month, Noah sent a raven out of the ark, but the raven never came back. So he sent a dove, and the dove went out. The dove couldn't find a place to land, and the dove came back to the ark. After that, he waited another 1 week again and sent the dove out, and the dove went out. And this time, the dove came back with leaf that it was able to pluck from the tree. And Noah knew that okay, the water is going down gradually. So it took about another 2 months or so, or 3 months passing. So and Noah sent the dove again, but the dove never came back. Now within the first month, Noah opened the ark, the window, the covering of the ark, and he looked outside and he found out that the land was getting dry, the earth was getting dry. But Noah didn't come out from the ark. It took another extra 1 month. That's making it 1 year, 2 months for Noah to leave the ark. And Noah did not go out of the ark until he was instructed by God that he and his family could now come out from the ark. And then the ark was opened, and he and his family came out from the ark. And they came onto dry land, and they were so happy. You can just imagine the joy that was in their hearts, knowing that after being in the ark for 1 complete year, it's like you have been indoors. You have not seen outside for like a year, complete year. You have been indoors. That was what happened. Just imagine the darkness that was in the ark. Although probably they were using fire, they were lighting fire, they were like setting up camp within the ark. But they couldn't open the doors, they couldn't open the windows because of the flood. Anything could happen, water could come into the ark. So they couldn't open the windows until the ark had settled. So you can imagine the joy that was in their hearts when they came out and they saw dry land like So when they came out, Noah now took out of those, remember I told you those 7 pairs of clean animals that God told him to put to bring into the ark. He took out of those 7 clean pairs and took out of the 7 clean pairs of birds as well, and he made a burnt. He set an altar on the mountain that they were on, and he made a burnt offering unto God, a burnt offering to thank God, to appreciate God for what God had done in their lives and for them. And when God, the aroma of the offering was very pleasing to God, and God was pleased with Noah and his family. And then God said to Noah, God said to Noah, I said, go into the world, be fruitful and multiply. Now you are the seed of all of human race, all of mankind on earth. You and your family are the seed of the next generation. Now go into the earth and multiply. And I'm giving you charge. I'm giving you charge over all animals, because all animals will be under you now. All animals, all creatures, living creatures, all the beasts of the earth and the birds of the air, they will fear you, because now I'm giving you charge over all of them. And today I'm going to make a covenant with you, because I'm happy with you. I'm happy with the fact that you listened to me when I gave you an instruction. I'm happy with the fact that you did everything that was pleasing in my eyes. And God made a covenant. God said, I will establish a covenant with you this day, Noah. And God told Noah that from now on, this covenant I'm establishing with you, it's not only just you that I'm establishing this covenant with. Listen, God did not just establish a covenant with Noah, but with all living creatures, all beasts, all the animals. Noah, his family, and all the animals, all living creatures of the earth. God established that covenant with all living creatures of the earth. And he said that never again will I destroy the world by waters of flood. And then he even set a sign. He said this will be a symbol, this will be a sign. That whenever I look upon it, whenever I send clouds to cover the sky, and that this sign, this rainbow is going to come out. It's a rainbow. That this rainbow is going to come out, and it will serve as a sign. That whenever I look at it, I will remember this covenant that I made with you and that I established with you and all living creatures on the earth. And that was how it happened. And this was the covenant that God made with Noah. And Noah was the beginning of a new generation on earth. It was the beginning of all of mankind. It was the last ray of hope for all of us here on earth. Without Noah, none of us would have existed. None of us would be. None of us would be in existence without Noah. Although we've come to the end of our story, but this was not the end of the story for Noah, but the beginning of a new generation, the beginning of mankind.